Hey guys, it's Elle, and today I'm going to be doing a Billionaire romance recommendations video for you. I am super excited. Some of these are my favorite books ever. I really enjoy Billionaire romances. I just think they are so much fun, and I love the heroes in these books. I think they are dominant, and they love to shower the heroine with gifts and different things, but it's just like this, I love the power that these billionaire men have, and they just love to showcase and love on their women. So the first book I have to share with you, of course, is Close Quarters by Steiner. This book is incredible. It is definitely one of my favorite Steiner books. So our heroine is a photographer. She just got out of college, and her boyfriend are going to be traveling the Mediterranean, both for work. He is a yachty, so he's going to be working on a yacht the whole summer, and she is going to fly solo and backpack and do photos for her photography business. And so when she meets the owner of the yacht, he is instantly enamored with her and really likes her, and he's like, well, why don't you just stay on the yacht? You need to get photos, and you'll get the best photos of being on the yacht and being directly on the water, visiting all the places in the Mediterranean Sea. So she's like, okay, I'll stay. And so she stays on the yacht with her boyfriend, and she starts connecting with the owner and getting to know him, and she ends up really liking him, and there's a lot of sexual tension between them and angst. And it is just absolutely incredible. I love the angst in this book, and he wants her so badly, but she's like, I can't, I'm in a relationship, but some things are falling out with her relationship, he is maybe not the person she thought he was. So it has a little bit of action in it, which I really liked, and I just loved seeing them travel to all these beautiful places. It was very scenic and just felt like you were transported there in the story, which I love. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Definitely go check it out. I think it may be on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know for sure, but if it is, I highly recommend. It is just such a great romance. So this next book is There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. I really love this book and this duet. So our hero is an artist. Both our heroine and hero are both artists, and the hero, he is very known in the art world. He makes a ton of money. He is very rich. And he meets the heroine one night when she spills wine on herself, and she's an artist, an up-and-coming artist, and he sees her for 1 second and is really intrigued by her, and he has this rival artist that he absolutely hates, and he is kind of crazy. They're both I can't remember, they're both very suspenseful, and he becomes basically obsessed with the heroine, and the heroine gets into some bad trouble with the other rival artist. It's a dark romance, so where your mind goes, that's maybe some stuff's gonna happen. And I don't want to spoil it because it is just such a fun, great dark romance, but he becomes obsessed with her and kind of stalks her a little bit, and it's really good. I love this book so much. I love the hero in this, and just how the heroine, he keeps doing nice things for the heroine because he knows that she's very poor from being an artist and she's not making a lot of money, so he starts doing these little things to help her out. He rents out a room for her at his big studio, and she's like, how is this being paid for? And he's like, well, Cole, who is the hero, paid for it. And she's like, what? And it is such a good duet. It has some serial killer elements in it, but that's all I'm going to mention because that gets a little bit spoilery. But I just love this duet so much. I love Sophie Lark. This is such a great romance. Next I have Dangerous Temptations by Jonah. This is another duet. Such a fun romance. It is a guardian and ward romance, and so this is a part of this big series that a lot of authors partake in, Kay Webster, Pam Godwin. It's the Morelli family. So the hero, he is a billionaire, and he basically starts dating the heroine's mother, and her mother dies, and so he gets custody of both the heroine and her younger brother, and the heroine absolutely hates the hero. She thinks that he is just horrible and absolutely hates his guts. And so she has to move with him to New York where he lives so he can like take care of them, but he has his own agenda of like why he's having them, like taking care of them and wanting to do this. It's not out of the goodness of his heart. He has an agenda. But then they start having some serious chemistry, serious angst, and it gets really spicy, and it's very hate to love, forbidden, angsty. There's some twists in here with some like family feud stuff, and it's just such a great romance. I really enjoyed it. I love the hero. He is dominant. He is spicy. He cares for her younger brother so much, and I just like love that. And I love where they stay in this like big spooky mansion, and the relationships that her younger brother has with him and his friends are just amazing. They really take care of him as like a big older brother kind of type, and I love that. And this is just such a great duet. Definitely go check it out. Next book I have is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. So I read the first book and I did not love it as much as I like this one. I think I gave this one like 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. So our hero is known as very grumpy sunshine. This book is Grumpy Sunshine. He is super grumpy, and he needs to marry somebody to get his inheritance, and he, I think, is the CEO of this company. It's kind of like Disneyland, like a theme park along the lines of Disneyland, and he has to marry somebody to get his inheritance, and he was going to marry this other woman, but she like backed out, and now he is going to marry his assistant, and it's kind of friends to lovers also. They've known each other for a really long time, and it's just really adorable. I really enjoyed this one. I love how grumpy he is, and she starts coming into like his space and bringing plants and like brightening it up, and he's just like, why are all these plants here? And it's just so funny. And I just remember really liking this one, and he has a lot of complicated feelings that he has to work through, and she helps him with that. So I just really love this one. It's kind of slow burn, marriage of convenience. It is just such a great romance. The next book I want to mention is Twisted Lies by Huang. This one is a massive chunker book, but I really enjoyed it. So our heroine is a social media influencer, and she is really trying to gain a lot more followers and kind of get her Instagram to like a business type level to get to 1 million followers. And so she's staying in this building where the hero is the owner of the building, and he's always been kind of smitten towards her, but he never like lets her know that. And he is very closed off and doesn't really let a lot of people in, but he really likes Stella, and she needs to start dating somebody for her Instagram because they're like, well, all of these Instagram people who are getting more followers are in a relationship and posting about it. So she makes a deal with Christian where he'll like help her like fake date, and that's the romance, and he starts to catch feelings for her, and she starts to catch feelings for him. It's kind of slow burn, and then there's a little bit of action where she used to have a stalker, and she thinks he's coming back, and so I really enjoyed this one. I really like Christian and how much he cared for Stella, and she is just so sweet, and I really love that about her character, and it was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed Anna Huang's other books in this series as much as this one. I think just with her writing, her writing is very slow burn sometimes with her books, and her books are very long, so sometimes that can put me out, but it didn't put me out with this one, and I just really enjoyed it. So I had to mention Sinner by Simone because I read this recently and absolutely loved it. This is such a good romance. So our hero, he is in his like mid-30s. He's dealing with a lot. His mom is dying from cancer, and he's really struggling. He has a really great job, and he makes a lot of money from it, and he meets the heroine at this like charity event and is instantly like enamored by her and wants to get to know her more and all this stuff. And so the next day he gets like a call from his boss where they have this deal that's kind of falling through where build anything on this building because there's this like food kitchen shelter type thing where it is run by nuns. And so they're like, well, that will look really, really bad for business if we you know, force a bunch of nuns out of this building. So the hero is tasked to go down there and speak to one of the nuns and try to like figure something out. And he finds out that it is the woman from the other night, and she is training to become a nun. And he also finds out that she is his childhood's best friend's sister. And so he's like, wow, that is complicated. And so they strike up a bargain where she and him will have like kind of a friends with benefits thing for a month so she can experience life before she has to be celibate and she's never going to marry anyone. So they have this like fun month together, but then they're starting to catch feelings for each other. And it is so good. I just love Sierra Simone's writing style. I love the way she describes like spicy scenes. I think she is amazing at that and really giving a lot of like spiciness and anticipation for her romances. And this one also had like a lot of emotion, especially with his mother passing away. And I just related to so much of that, not because my mother has cancer or anything like that, but just like the grief aspect. And I just really love that she put that in this book. It is a little emotional with that. So keep in mind if that triggers you, but I just love this and how you really didn't know until the end if they were going to end up together because she is so passionate about becoming a nun. So it's just such a great romance. I definitely recommend reading the first book in this series because it gives a lot of context. This whole series follows brothers. So I would definitely read the first book before reading this one because it has a lot of context to their childhood and what's going on there. But I love this one. I give it 5 stars. Definitely go check this series out. The next book I have is 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. I read this in December and absolutely loved it. It is a holiday romance, but it's not super heavy on the holiday aspect to it. So our heroine just got broken up with her longtime boyfriend, and he was very verbally abusive towards her, would always kind of beat her down about the way she looked, how she dressed. She loves to be very feminine and girly and dress in pinks, and she has blonde hair and she has a very full figure, and he just would criticize her all the time about like the person she was. And so he breaks up with her on Halloween, and so she decides to come up with this revenge plan to get back at him for all the stuff he did to her over the years. And so she ends up matching with his boss on a dating app, and she decides to make a plan where she will date his boss and show up with him at the Christmas party, like the company Christmas party, because that's like a really big thing. And he's always never let her go to that because he's like, you can't go, you're not professional enough, whatever. And so she starts dating his boss, and his boss is like one of my favorite heroes of all time. He is the sweetest. He just wants to take care of the heroine in all times. He is dominant. He is so sexy. I love him so much. And she starts catching feelings for him, and he starts catching feelings for her, and she's like, well, should I keep going on with this? I feel horrible about it. And it is just such a great romance. They have a lot of different things where they do fun like Christmassy stuff. And I just love this romance. It was so good, very spicy, just so fun, and I really, really adored this one. The last book is Filthy Gods by Scarlet. Yeah, so I read this not a couple years, it's probably like 3 years now, but I keep going back to it. I love it so much. So this is a novella for a series that she was going to come out with, and then she stopped writing for a while, so I don't know if she's still going to come out with this series, but this book is so amazing. It is so good. So our hero and heroine are rivals in school, and they're like rivals on the debate team, and she is working at this like hotel that his family owns, and they've always hated each other, and they kind of strike up like a friends with benefits thing, but it's kind of like enemies with benefits, and they start having some stuff doing some stuff, and it's really, really good. I absolutely love this. It is such a great novella. It's very spicy, a little bit like dark aspects to it, and they end up like falling in love with each other. And it's like in New England, I think in the summertime, I can't remember, but it has this like darker aura to it, which I really loved, and mood. It felt very moody, and I just really love this one. It is such a great romance if you want something spicy and really hot, but has a lot of angstiness to it. Definitely go pick this up. So that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I love billionaire romances with my whole heart. I think next I'm going to do a video where I talk about like Duke romances and historical romances, because those romances are like the modern day billionaire romance. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon.